There's a revolution happening over our heads. It's about to make silver more precious than ever. The sun's power is taking over the world. It's growing so fast, it'll be the biggest source of electricity by the 2030s. Solar. Here's the kicker: every single solar panel needs silver to work. We're talking about a silver paste web in every panel turning sunlight into power. Smart investors are already making their move, and that's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. With a silver IRA, you can surf this incredible wave of growth. It doesn't matter who sits in the White House or what Wall Street does. Solar power is unstoppable, and silver is the secret weapon. As the world goes green, your retirement could be going sterling silver. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers in 2024. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. You may get up to 10 free brand new 1 ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with every qualified IRA. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. What's going on, everyone? Jericho Green here with you once again. It is time to check in with my buddy, my financial friend, Guy Gotslak. He is founder, CEO, owner, and driver of My Digital Money. We have some pretty cool topics coming up today. Let's see, let me pull that up. So there's two topics that we really want to get into. They not only are about cryptocurrency and digital money, of course, which is why I have Guy here, but I think it ties into the election. It ties into our everyday lives. So let's bring in an expert, shall we? The aforementioned Guy. What's up, man?
Hey, man, how are you?
Good. Good to see you. Good to have you here. I
You as
appreciate your
well.
time as usual. How is wedded bliss treating you?
Oh, it's good, going well. Yeah, I mean, it's not much different, but everything's good.
Good. Glad to hear it. So, I mentioned to the folks that there are two topics that we want to get into today, and there was an interest rate cut. So we've talked about this before here. It's kind of in the news. You know, if you're into news, whether it be political or social, you're gonna hear about things like that because it's a big deal having rates cut. But as we were talking about off camera, as they say, this feels inorganic. It feels like they're just doing this because the election is coming up. They're trying to pull people more over to the Democrat side. Am I wrong in that? And being that it feels that way, assuming it is that, does that mean it's going to last long? Or is this going to be something that's kind of quick, last for a few months, get those votes, and then we're kind of back in the bad situation we were in before? And how does that kind of affect cryptocurrency?
Yeah, the timing is definitely convenient for the Democratic Party. We knew that interest rates had to come down at some point. And it was always a plan, right? But usually a standard, easing is done, 25 basis points at a time. So, the 50 basis points is a little bit, aggressive. And you might do that if you're in a certain economic situation, but I don't really see a big reason to have been so aggressive. So I think that your argument that it was politically motivated is a valid one for sure. And so, generally though, it's good for crypto when you have easing, right? When you're injecting liquidity into the market, it's good for risk on assets. So, crypto took a nice, ride up. Is it going to sustain? Remains to be seen. It really depends, on just GDP growth, economic activity, jobs in general, whether it will last, right? Definitely, this could be seen as a temporary spike. We don't know if it's going to last. Really depends on what will happen in the election, right? Not to get political, but um, you know, this is not something that if you're smart enough and you're looking at the big picture, you shouldn't let this sway you. You shouldn't say, "Oh yeah, my portfolio is doing well. All right, economy is good. Let's stick with the party that's in power," right? Or like I don't think. Hopefully, people can see through it, right? And understand that this is just temporary.
So, being that it's temporary, should people, in your professional opinion, should people, if they have the currency to play with, get a little bullish in case this doesn't last long? Or would you, you and a buddy are having a conversation in a coffee shop, would you tell him, just wait a little bit?
Well, I do think that we're in a quantitative easing cycle, right? So, rates will continue to come down. I don't think they're going back up, right? And so that means that uh, cash, you got to rethink, right? That cash stash, as we call it. Obviously, you were getting great yields on your cash, right? If you had like a certificate of deposit account or a savings account that earns you a yield, you probably were earning close to 5% over the last year. So definitely, cash stashes have grown a lot in the last year or two because of interest rates. I think that it's, I have a stat over here that shows money market funds hit a whopping 2.6 trillion last week, which was up from 1.5 trillion in September of 2022. Um, but I think it's that the interest rates are already going down. Like you already see the yields are decreasing on these offerings. So yeah, I think that people should start thinking about where to put their money if they want a higher yield, right? I'm actually doing the same thing because I was locked into 5% yield with a certain bank, but it was only 3 months at a time. So now it's going to go down, and I need to rethink where to put it. I think Bitcoin is definitely a valid place to put it. Um, but it's riskier, of course. So you have to think about how much you're willing to put in and lock in there, because I see it always as I've told you, it's a long term play. So if it's something you might need, in 6 months, then maybe you decrease how much you put in there, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, we can evaluate the different options. I think Bitcoin is definitely good. Gold is of course good. It's over the past year, it's gone up 35%. Bitcoin's gone up, of course, a lot more than that, like 130%, I think about. Um, Treasury bonds, maybe 3.5% in the past year. Real estate has actually gone down if you were invested in REITs, right? You would have lost maybe about 3.5% in the past year. Oil also has gone down, right? And so it looks like gold and Bitcoin are very good. S&P 500. Uh, Let me see what the increase was on that one. 27%. So that's pretty good too, right?
Wow.
Uh, yeah. So I definitely think it's time to start looking at other places to put your cash.
Okay. So, and you guys, if you like what you're hearing or you have more questions, and maybe I'm not asking questions you have, make sure you go to mydigitalmoney.com. That'll all be in the description box. Give them a call, get your hands on the pamphlet. Um, so when you say long term, like what kind of time frame are you? 5 years, maybe 10 years? Is there a number you could put on that?
Yeah, I mean, when I think of long term, I always think 5 plus years, but even the midterm, I mean, Bitcoin has always been pretty good. Like when you look over 2, 3 year span, obviously we had a period of 2 years where the prices dropped, but then they went back up, right? So whenever I look at like a 2 to 3 year period, I'm always at a gain. Um, so I would say 2 plus years. But I think of Bitcoin in particular as a very long term play for me. Like I don't plan on taking it out, uh, even in the next 10 years, right? So, uh, but yeah, I think it's a good mid to long term investment. If it's some money you need, then uh, think about other places. It's always good to diversify. So if you have a bunch of money and a savings account or certificate of deposit, and you're not happy with earning less than 3%, let's say, then you might start thinking about maybe putting a little bit Bitcoin, maybe putting in gold, like kind of in different places, depending on how much return, what your goals are, right? The S&P and gold did pretty well, but obviously Bitcoin did much better in the past year. Uh, so yeah, just depends on your goals, right? And on your risk tolerance and all of that, as I always say. Um, but yeah, definitely, I think people need to start looking at other places other than their savings accounts.
So spread it out. Don't put all those, eggs in one basket or even in two baskets. So we mentioned, the interest rates, we're pretty sure they're going down because the election's coming, blah, blah, blah. So the Democrats are saying that they want to give you a $50,000 tax credit. So you might hear $50,000. They're going to give me 50 grand. Well, no. So would you rather have 50,000 in crypto or 50,000 in tax credits?
You asking me, right?
Yeah, like if the
Yeah.
government were to gift you one of those,
Oh,
which
crypto
would you
all the way,
choose?
all the way. Crypto all the way, and look, especially if you're not earning a certain amount, right? Like when you're talking about tax deduction, you have to earn money, right, in
Mhm.
order to save money, right? And a lot of people, and that's another thing. I don't know if the deduction means that your income will decrease, but generally when you take deductions, then your income on paper decreases, which decreases your ability to get a loan. I don't know enough details about how this particular deduction would work. But yeah, you have to earn money to save money. In this case, if you're not earning a lot of money, right, then especially if you're earning like 60,000, of course you would prefer crypto to increase your income. So um, yeah, I and crypto also for me, it's obviously the return is high and I'm bullish on it. So any chance I have to accumulate Bitcoin and other crypto, I take that. So
And
a little biased.
did I say deduction? I meant credit, tax credit. But I
Credit,
think
credit. Yeah.
either way, someone would rather have 50 grand in crypto
Yes.
because you could turn that into real money that you could do something with rather than, okay, you're going to give me a $50,000 break on my taxes. Thanks. But that really doesn't do anything for me. That doesn't turn that into capital that I can go out and start a business with. I wish they would do that. It would be much better if the government were to say to entrepreneurs, you're starting a business, hey, or maybe you have a business. I hate to leave those people out in the cold, like somebody like myself who's already started a small business. Well, I'd like 50 grand to put toward my business as well, new equipment, all kinds of stuff. So I wish they would do that. And I wouldn't see that as a government handout, even though I guess by definition it might be. I would see that more of as an investment because you have a business, you have something you're going to put it into to grow something or start something or make something better. So I think that would be more of an investment. And of course, um, we shouldn't have to pay it back.
Yeah.
I
No, I,
think,
I agree that that would be a good thing, to incentivize uh, people to start businesses, to invest in their businesses. Um, yeah, but that's not the only thing to look at. Of course, like you need to have the right economic conditions to grow a business, right? Um, and so there's a lot of other things that come into play. So if I'm thinking politically and I'm thinking of who to vote for, that by itself might not be enough, right? We got to make sure that we're generating jobs. We're focused on GDP, right? That there's demand, right, for my services, right?
mhm.
That might I'm in the right kind of economic situation to succeed. When I create my business, right? Um, so yes, the credit helps, or giving $50,000 to small business owners, it helps, but that's not everything.
Yeah, you need to create customers. You can't build this business and then have nobody to patronize it. So yeah, the economy would have to be such that yeah, there are jobs. People are working. People having the disposable income to come and give it to your business. So yeah, it definitely works hand in hand, and that's only a part of the puzzle.
I mean, it sounds
Um,
great, when you're running a
yeah,
political campaign, right? But it's not enough by itself, right? So that's the point.
yeah, sounds good though.
Sounds
Um, let me it's a great segue, by the way, talking about who you're going to vote for. So Trump, who was, I would say, an anti-crypto guy not too long ago, not too far back, but now he's a big fan of it. um we talked about that as well a little bit off camera as to why he's now a fan of crypto. If you could explain that a little bit, because you listen to, I guess, can we call it a podcast,
Yeah, it's
a
yeah,
show?
you call that Twitter Spaces. They
Okay,
have
yeah.
a feature or X now, sorry, X Spaces. But yeah, they have a feature where you can, essentially have a town hall, or have, a podcast type platform.
So he was on this space the same day that there was the second attempted assassination in Florida at his golf course. They caught the guy and all that kind of stuff, but he still kept his appointment, his obligation with these people, which is pretty hardcore. But he has a new crypto business. It is Donald Trump. The reason that we know his name is not because he was president, but because of his business um, acumen, if you will, his ability to grow businesses, start businesses. He wrote the book, The Art of the Deal. So business is his thing, and I think that's why we were doing so well financially under Donald Trump. But if you can kind of explain a little bit about what you heard in that Twitter space that he was on, and is this going to benefit us? Are we going to see crypto introduce more into our currency if he gets back in office? What do you think about Trump and his
Yeah,
crypto biz?
yeah. So I think Trump definitely, has a track record of supporting crypto. I mean, I know he was skeptical at one point, but during his administration, he had pro crypto people in his administration, and his family, his sons have been heavily involved, in the crypto industry as well. And he himself, created NFTs, right? Um,
Mhm.
and obviously he made money off of it, but he embraced that, right? And he's talked a lot about creating the right regulatory framework to make sure that America leads in digital assets innovation, right? He's done a lot of things there, and most recently he's been involved in creating this company, World Liberty Financial. His sons are heavily involved in building this company along with Zach Witkoff, who's a real estate investor, well known one. And so, yeah, they got on Twitter Spaces and they talked a little bit about it. Trump didn't get in a lot of detail himself. He just talked about, the vision of crypto, right, and why it's important alongside AI, to be the leader in it. But his sons got into a little more detail about it. Um, Still, the white paper is not out, so it's yet to be seen exactly what technologies underneath and everything, but it's essentially around providing credit to people that don't have access. And it was interesting. His son Don Jr. talked about how the Trump family always had a lot of access to credit. They can make a phone call within a few minutes. They get a loan, right? No problem. Um, but once they started getting into politics, it became much harder to get money. And in fact, I think he started a business where overnight the bank cut off his access. They actually thought they got
Oh,
hacked and they weren't able to make payroll. So they panicked. They called the bank, and then the bank basically said, "Yeah, we're cutting you off, but we sent you a cashier's check. It's on the way." Um, and so, even though they still have much better access than most people, he started seeing what it was like not to have access. And so, part of of starting this business is to create more fairness and more access to credit. And they also talked a lot about on this Twitter Spaces. They talked about tokenized real estate, right? And how it could provide access to people that may not have enough money to purchase a home, right? If you're in a down market, you can usually make investments for penny on the dollar. The Trump family usually can do that, but a lot of people can't. And down market, they don't have enough to purchase a home. And so this gives access, right? That's what blockchain is all about. Also, it circumvents red tape and regulations, and obviously there's still some regulation in crypto, and he's for that. But the point is that this kind of aligns with the ethos of less regulation, and so it makes sense that Donald Trump and the Republican Party would embrace blockchain, right? And they have. And Harris also came out yesterday saying that she would support innovation in digital asset space, but that's as far as she's gone, to kind of give her viewpoint on crypto. And she was talking to her donors, by the way. And so who are from the digital asset space and from Silicon Valley, right? And so we don't really know, like we haven't really seen action, but I can't tell you that, yeah, the Donald Trump camp is pretty pro crypto, so that's good.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, they have been. This isn't something that they're just wheeling out for the election cycle. They have been involved in it for the past few years. And I, as we were talking about before, this I think is true equality because it's not some nonsense about, oh, we want people of color, and I hate that term, in these spaces and forcing people to do things that really have no results in your real life. Like, okay, they're allowed to go there. So what? How is that going to help me? But this can help you. This
Hmm.
can give you access to credit to buy a home, which is something you can leave for your family, something you can sell if you want to, if you want money or you want to move somewhere. It's a bargaining chip. It's capital. It's money. It's a way for you to say, I want to do this or I want to do that or I want to leave something. I want to leave my kids a springboard into life that I didn't have. I can leave something behind. And it's kind of the attitude of there's enough room for everybody to eat at this table. So let's bring up people who may not have before. Why not? There's plenty to get around. The Trump family is already they're wealthy. So you're not really taking any food out of their mouth. So I think that's real equality. And as I mentioned to you, this could be a controversial statement, but I would rather see financial equality than racial equality, which we already have. But if given a choice, I would totally pick financial equality, especially being that I have a family and I want to leave them something. And I want to have something to create a better, easier life for them. That's what we really need. Again, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
Kamala said that yesterday, but two things. All she did was talk about it, and she was in front of the people who want to hear those words. Will that ever materialize? I don't think so.
Right. I mean,
But
she speaks a lot about the opportunity economy, but show me policies that lead to opportunities, right?
mhm,
Um, having a regulatory framework that's friendly, for crypto that really makes it, gives you a path to registering, right, with whatever agency is supposed to be overseeing it, right? Gives you a valid path, and you have an agency that's friendly and not just suing people left and right. I think that can lead to real economic opportunities for people. It's giving people options, right? Not forcing them and preventing them from doing things. So, yeah, show me how we're gonna have an opportunity economy, and I think this is definitely one way to provide opportunities for people. Um, and by the way, like I did just read that, yeah, this is supposed to be built on Aave. I don't know if you're familiar with Aave, but we actually have the Aave token on our platform. It's essentially a network that allows lenders and borrowers to sign up and to borrow and lend money directly between entities and between individuals. So it's none of that, fractional reserve banking system, right? Um,
mhm.
you can kind of lend money or borrow money directly, right? So without making the banks, you know, crazy rich. So
Yeah, without them having them take a bite, out of what you're trying to create or what you have created. And remember, guys, mydigitalmoney.com. Get on the website, call the number, talk to somebody here in America who
mhm,
is going to help you with any issues you may be having, answer any questions you may have, because they're in it too. They're not just sitting back and telling you what you should be doing or giving you opinions about what you should do with this and that. They're doing it too. Guy is in this market as well. His money is on the line. He has skin in the game. So he's here to help. MyDigitalMoney.com. Get the pamphlet, call the number. Um, a lot of good news today. I think, the interest rates coming down. What will that look like? Remember the long term when you're thinking Bitcoin, it's a long game. But what will the lowered interest rates look like? How long will they last? These are questions that maybe Guy can answer for us next time. Also, Trump friendly to crypto has been for a while. How will this affect his presidency when he gets back in office. What does that mean for you and I think it'll be positive. I think more access to opportunity can only be good for us. I think we lose when politicians lose focus on that, when they don't have us as their number one priority. Our happiness, our wealth, our opportunity is more important than theirs. And any politician who remembers that will be successful. Guy Gotslak, I thank you, man, very much for being here once again. Do not forget mydigitalmoney.com, the pamphlet, the phone number. Get there. Do something with your money. You have that 401k, you have that IRA sitting around. Let's make it grow. Get it in that digital market. This is the man who's going to take you there. He is the Pied Piper of digital money. Guy,
Thank you for having
thank
me.
you, man. Of course. And we will do this again. Every month, my man Guy is going to sit down with me. We're going to talk about things that are happening. We're keeping our finger on the pulse. So not only digital money, finance, and stuff like that, but it all kind of ties in together. Who is in office is important. Their policies are important. And we'll be here for you. mydigitalmoney.com. And until the next time, myself and Guy, we are